Hey gang, we are in Norwood Park today. Norwood Park, just outside of Chicago to the northwest. Actually, Norridge, the village of Norridge, is right on the border of the cemetery. Cemetery being Acacia Park Cemetery. We've been here before at the mausoleum, which is the big mausoleum, which is right over there. But we're here today to talk about a forgotten family, a forgotten woman who, very young, lost her life. I want to thank Ramona, who initially suggested this story, and also Venetia, who actually later did a lot of digging, looking for pictures and things. Very tough to find, not a lot of information on the story. And of course our ancestry friend Deb, who helped. But the story is of Marie Pompilio, and it's a tragic story, and it's one that she needs to be remembered along with her family. So we're here at the outdoor mausoleum, and we're just going to walk along in this beautiful little area in here. There's a beautiful fountain over here. We'll give a little bit of a backdrop. A nice calming sound of the water. But this place here, what you're looking at, is a place where a mother would come every day for 9 years to see her daughter, and that would be Marie. Her parents, Michael and Anne. Now Marie was an only child. She was adopted. When she was an infant, her parents told her when she was about 4 or 5 that she was adopted, and it was never a problem for her. They were very, very close, extremely close, especially mother and daughter. Now it was 1988, and Marie was a senior at Mother Guerin All-Girls High School, and it was midway through her senior year that she started to date this boy. His name was Peter Weber. Peter went to Holy Cross all-boys school. He was on the football team there. He was the class valedictorian. He was very handsome and very popular. Well, things were going well. There was graduation, and as all around the city, the neighborhoods, all over the country, it was off to college for many of the children, many of the kids. Peter would end up going to the Air Force Academy, Colorado Springs, and it was then that he gave Marie a ring. Now, Marie didn't know what to think of it, and her mom was very nervous. She said, well, you can really only accept this as a friendship ring, so that's how it was taken. After only 13 days, Peter came home. He didn't like it there at the academy, and he missed Marie. Now, Marie, in the meantime, had entered Northwestern University here, which is on the north side, Evanston, and she had been cooling down to the relationship. And that happened a lot. Kids are going to college, they want their independence, their newfound independence. And it was kind of like a fresh start. This is what I'm doing. She was rushing a sorority, the Alpha Gamma Deltas. She was working the campus paper. She was volunteering at the school to teach math, and she was making a lot of new friends. She was really enjoying it, and she would talk to her mother, Anne, 3 times a day, and that was their ritual. Once in the morning and the day, and of course before bed. They, as I said, were extremely close. There would always be the wake-up call, and it was said that Marie would always ask for 5 more minutes, just like at home, before she would have to go off to school. Now, Peter was only supposed to visit Marie on Tuesday nights as a friend, of course, but he was showing up all the time, like every day. He was becoming a real pest. He was becoming a problem. And then to make things worse, he started to get paranoid and possessive. Marie was his. So what does he do? This guy calls up Marie's mom, Anne, and he says, hey, did you know Marie is going to these frat parties and there's all these boys? And Anne is like, well, yeah, she's probably supposed to do that because she's in a sorority. That's what you do. Did you know that there's cocaine, there's marijuana, they're doing all sorts of bad stuff there? Of course, he's trying to plant the seed to get mom involved. He was freaking out, man. Completely freaking out. And Anne, Marie's mom, is like, hey, you've got to just cool it. You've got to back off. You've got to figure it out. I trust my daughter. Then he started sending Marie letters. One of the letters said, I am insanely jealous and you are mine, period, and I don't share. And these letters, they got worse. He started to threaten suicide. Marie wouldn't tell her mother about that. She would never admit it, but it was intimated. Well, it came to a head on October 27th, 1988. It was in the early evening, and Marie called her mother at a very odd time. Now, her mom, again, remember, it was the evening phone call, and her mom watches Wheel of Fortune. It's like, don't call me during Wheel of Fortune. They would laugh about it, but that's when she called. She said, look, Peter's coming over to pick me. He's coming over. And I'm going to lay it down. You know, we are not going out. You are not, we're breaking up. And if it's a friendship we're breaking up, it's a friendship. But it's over. I don't want to see you anymore. Period. And Anne was like, okay, be careful. Call me. Let me know what happens. Well, she never called back. Evening turned into night, night turned into late night. But then curiously, Peter called and he said, oh, we had a fight and Marie's keys fell out of the car. Really strange. She decided to walk home to vent her frustration. But what actually happened is Peter rushed over to Marie's apartment, her dorm. Well, it was this, not sure it was the dorm or the sorority, but she had a roommate, and the roommate is like, what's going on? Where is Marie? He said, she's going to be spending the night with someone else, quote unquote. It was 12:15 now, a.m., and mom calls the university safety office and reported Marie missing. And then, of course, police were called. They interviewed Peter, and he said, after she told me of the breakup, she left the vehicle, she left my car. She wanted to walk off her frustrations. Ridiculous, right? Well, the next day, Marie's father, Michael, and two of the nephews, with Peter, went to search for Marie. No luck. But at 5 p.m., there were some residents in nearby Skokie to the north. Skokie to the north of here, Skokie to the south of Northwestern University. They found Marie's body. She was placed face down under a bush next to an alley. Her clothing was torn from her body. She had knife wounds on her throat and hands, and they appeared to be defensive wounds. Meanwhile, back at the police station, Peter said that they were fighting and she had attacked him. And he accidentally strangled her in self-defense. Just an accident, by the way. And he said to cover up the crime, he slashed her up and took her clothes off. Detectives left the interrogation room on a break, and what does he do? He slashes himself with his pocket knife. Off to the hospital, soon after released. He's charged with first-degree murder, and there is a $150,000 bond. That was increased to $300,000. Of course, his family quickly paid it, 30 grand, and he was free. Of course, there was a trial. He pleaded innocent, and he was found guilty. He was sentenced to only 25 years plus 5, eligible for parole in 14 years. Now, I believe that he served most of that sentence. I don't know, through trying to research it. The family did file an $8 million lawsuit, so the guy couldn't write a book and get famous and make money, or get infamous. And they won that. And then, just to go back to the trial, Marie's mom up on the stand, just an unbelievable sentencing hearing statement to him, this horrible guy. This guy got out of prison and he is living around here to this day. So we are at their grave. In fact, the whole family. And the most horrifying part and sad part of this story is that the entire family, of course, in these cases destroyed, but Anne just went downhill right after that. So here we are at the family's crypts. We'll start with Anne, who died, I think it was November 1st, 1997. And I'm going to tell you about that. There's Marie. Faithful Day, 1988. And then you can see here the writing is a little darker and more recent. Michael passed in 2008. A very sad story, guys. And as I stand here, I feel just terrible. I'm going to tell you more about Marie, and I'm going to tell you more about Anne. I'm going to see if this will fit in here. It will. So Anne would come here every single day, right here. And this is the marble bench that she would sit on and pray and talk to Marie. And they say that she would actually come here right up to the crypt and pound on the marble with her fist and plead with Marie to talk to her, give her a sign, which I do not believe she ever received. And then one day, early on in this process, she was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. And of course, downhill, 9 years, a slow downhill descent, coming here every day. And on the final day, she was not able to walk here. She had to stay in the car. I believe it was up here, up the stairs. She could not walk anymore. And it was just a few days later from that visit that Anne passed away. And I have to believe that she was, I don't want to say looking forward to it, but I think she was probably embracing death. She died of a broken heart. Marie would tell her mom about a Louis Armstrong song, "What a Wonderful World." I'm sure many of you have heard it. And her mom would say, "Why are you listening to that? That's even before my time." And Marie would say, "They're just beautiful words, Mom. Just listen to the words. Listen to the words." A forgotten family, forgotten no more. Rest in peace, Pompilio family. Rest in peace.